currently? Okay, so a little more than half probably. And are you here because you're struggling using it? You haven't picked it up yet? Okay. And you're kind of in that same boat. Okay, who's actually used it? You're using it a little bit. Using a little bit? Okay. But you just want to know. This is the first time I've taught this class. So I want it to be really open, what you guys want to learn. I'm going to kind of go over the basic tools and kind of how things work. But then if you guys want to know a specific thing or there's something you have questions, please ask. We'll just make it really, thank you. We'll just make it really open and we'll try to teach you guys the things that you want to know. Because I know everyone's probably on a little bit different level and I don't know everything. I use one. I'm not the expert Silhouette person, but I know it well enough that hopefully we can answer your questions. If we can't, we'll try to research and find some way that we can. So we're going to be dealing with these today. Kind of showing some basic, I made these for the heat transfer class, so we're not going to basically be going over heat transfer, but this is how you can layer and the cutting and a lot of the different things that you can do with the Cameo that I think a lot of people don't know. You can import an image in. All of these were just JPEG images from the internet. So we'll kind of show you how to bring an image in. I've heard, Melissa, you wanted to know how to bring an image in and turn it into a vector graphic, right? Is that something that a lot of you would be interested in learning?
Yes.
Bring in just a basic JPEG? Okay, so we'll be doing, I have my file for that and I have my file for this. Same basic concept where you bring in an image and then I actually hand drew in the Silhouette program all the color shapes. So the feather was a trace that I traced online and then hand drew in the other color parts. So we'll kind of be touching on that, see how we can do that. And if you guys have questions, just let me know. Let's pass this around. Can you guys just sign this for us? We'll just pass that around. The other thing we were just chatting about was our new store up the street here. It'll be just up, if you go to 33rd and then up in Brickyard, it'll be brand new and it'll be a vinyl outlet. So basically the craft section that is currently out at Regional, the one side, is moving. Regional supply is not moving, just that section. So we have a big, beautiful classroom up there. We'll be teaching classes. Plus we have lots of rooms with products and we're just super excited about it. So it is a little bit further away. I know you haven't got that. But it is just basically straight up 33rd. Turn on 13th and then just go into that Brickyard shopping plaza.
So the other one will not be here.
No. Yeah. This one will, you can come in still and order by the yard of something that you want, but the sheeting and all that side will no longer be there.
So it's Megan, in conjunction with that, since all the sheet products will be moving to the new location, if anyone's purchasing anything on our website, those items will not be available on our website anymore. Like Megan said, anything by the yard you can still buy on our website. But any of the sheets you buy at that new location or the vinyl outlet website.
Yeah. So if we buy it. Yes, it is. There's some great shops up there. So if you just want to go shopping, there's some great things up there by it. But we will have longer hours and we will be open Saturdays. So that will be a little bit better for some.
Are you going to have a website up there?
Well, we actually currently have vinyl outlet website.
Okay.
It has been up for a while. We're just now kind of merging and combining everything. So you can purchase all the sheets, 5 and 10 yard rolls, accessories, transfer tapes, all those type of things online. So yes, that is also available. Was there anything else that you wanted? Sorry, I keep blinding myself with my own. So all of you should have a little packet I made for you kind of quickly. The top sheet is basically a little cheat sheet. I got online and I was researching the Silhouette things and I couldn't find anywhere that just basically told what all the tools did in one kind of quick glance. So I went through and took a screenshot of the main. This is what pulls up when you turn on your Silhouette, start it up. This is your program. So I just did a quick little guide of what every button on that does. So we'll go through those and we'll kind of explain them, but this is just your really quick snapshot for the Silhouette program. And have any of you worked in the Silhouette program thus far? Okay, you have a little bit. It's fairly easy. It's kind of like a really easy version of Illustrator, kind of, but anyway, we'll kind of go through it so you can have a a better understanding of that. And that's the top sheet, and then after that, you'll have, I kind of have each one broken down in just a place for notes. So as we go through, feel free to write notes, feel free to ask questions, and we'll just do our best to answer what you need. And like I said, if you have questions, stop me. Feel free to ask questions and to just let me know what you want to learn out of this class. So this is our beautiful Cameo. For those of you that don't have it, I think it's on. Oh, I think I just unloaded it. So the brand new one is a touchscreen. Do you guys have the touchscreen, or do you have the older one? Okay. Today we're going to be using, this is the latest version, and it is touchscreen. So hopefully it's similar to the one you have. This is the basic. You open this. This is the blade for anybody who doesn't know how to. This comes with it. On your blade, you have. There's a little red mark and then numbers. And this is your blade depth. So this is how deep you're going to cut whatever material you have. So if you have glitter and transfer, let's say, this is much thicker than just like a standard vinyl sheet. So you need to adjust your blade, and we'll go over all that, but that's how you adjust it. There is a little tool that comes with your Silhouette. It's a little gray, like you can put it on and twist it. The other beautiful thing is right here, there's a little hole. You just have to place that down in it, and then turn it. And that ratchets your blade up and down. When you move it over, wherever the red line is, that's the depth that you're on.
Can't you do that on the program itself?
No. It tells you what to put it on, but it doesn't adjust it for you.
I thought I could. I thought
It shows it, and it's in there, but you have to manually, it won't do it on its own. That would be awesome if it did. But to my knowledge, unless someone else has found something else, you have to manually adjust that. And that's what that little hole's for. So when I'm cutting things like glitter, I usually have it on a 3. And when I cut vinyl, it's usually on a 2. But when you go to the advanced settings, I'll show you in a minute, it will tell you where to put your blade. And then you just have to adjust your blade to that. So that's kind of fun. I didn't realize that's what this little slot was for until I played with it for a minute. So adjust it back down, and then you just simply put it in there and click it, lock it. The other little thing it has is this lifts up the bar, this little bar right here. So that actually releases it and puts it down, this little lever. And these feet, these little white feet, I hope everyone can see. Can you guys see? Here. Eric, come hold this. Do you think I'm bossy? Okay. Just hold that up a little bit so they can see. So these little feet right here are what track your material through the machine. So if you are going to cut a sheet that's smaller, like this is for a standard 12 by 24-ish, yeah. And there's a mat that comes, I didn't bring my mat in. I never use my mat, but if you guys want to use your mat. So just adjust those. If you want to cut a teeny sheet, you just have to adjust those down so that that is always tracking. Your material always has to be tracking under one of those feet, or it starts to go, if you want this. So changing these, which took me a minute to figure out, you have to rotate them. You have to grab them really tight and rotate them out of their little slots. Actually, I'm not really going to do this.
So you never use a cutting mat with it?
If you're going to
Stick
cut
the
something,
vinyl in?
Is it more for paper?
yeah. If you're going to cut through something, I can't get that out. Can you twist that out? They're a bugger to twist out, by the way. But you have to twist them out and then move it down the
And there's
silver
little
slot.
slots in there.
There's little
Don't
slots.
go over where the black
Coils are.
cord, yeah, because
No.
it'll get stuck and it'll never come off. So
It has
don't
to-
go as far
yeah,
as that.
don't go that far. So you have to just move it over to fit your media. Can you twist it?
I loosen it and it just spins.
Anyway, they move. It's hard when he's holding it, but they move over, so you can just adjust that to whatever media you're doing. But like Carrie said, don't make sure they're fitting. There's these little tiny notches. Make sure those little toes fit in one of those notches. So that's probably about the thinnest you can go. And then if you have your mat, you can just adhere your. Do you want to go to the mat? Do you guys all have the mat? Do you know what the mat looks like?
It comes out.
So it's like a cricket mat, basically. If you have a tiny piece, you can stick your product to the mat, and then the mat will run through it. So that's another way. If you have a little tiny piece of something, you can stick it to a mat. Anything that you cut like vinyl that you don't cut all the way through, I don't use my mat. Because I'm not worried about it cutting into the new strip or anything, because I'm never going to cut all the way through. If you're going to cut cardboard or fabric or things like that, probably use your mat so you're not cutting into your cutting strip. But other than that, I just use it just like this. Some people prefer to use a mat all the time. I just don't. I got a normal plotter. You don't use a mat. so I'm just used to not using a mat, I guess, but feel free to use one if you want one. And like I said, anything that you're gonna cut all the way through, use your mat. But for vinyl and for heat transfer, I don't ever use my mat. You can put it in. So you just basically, I mean, you hook up really easily with your USBs and your, basic stuff. Do the instructions, it's really, really easy. And we can go through, does anybody have any questions on the machine itself? As far as it's really pretty simple, not a whole lot to it, but, and then let's see, so I went over the blades and rollers. Should we just start going through? So this is, when you start your Silhouette program, this is what it looks like. Can you, shut that
You want
off
the lights
there.
down?
Yeah. And then let me know if you guys can see okay. Is that okay? Okay. So this is,
Okay.
Adam.
It's hard to spell.
So, we have troublemaker in the back of the box. So this is what your basic Silhouette Studio looks like. Along the, can you guys see my mouse?
Yeah.
If I say this, okay. So along this side are your basic drawing tools. Up in here are your open and save, if you want to refer to your little handout I gave you. You've got your basic opens and saves and cut and paste. Up in here, you've got your zoom tools. So most undo, redo, cut, copy. So most of those you guys should be familiar with just other programs. Do you all feel comfortable with those? This one I found is kind of cool. If you click on that, it lets you just one time zoom into whatever you want. This one puts you back to fit in a full window. And then this one, you can drag it over a certain aspect that you have, and it will bring you into that area. So those are kind of just some different ways to zoom in and out. Your basic cursor tool is up in this corner. It's what you select things with. These are your line drawing tools. So if you want to draw a line, that's your basic line. If you want to draw a rectangle, basic rectangle. This one has a rounded, this is ellipses.
I have a question.
Oh, sure.
So if you're gonna do a rectangle, can you put a dimension in there? And then it will just automatically.
With this one, I believe you can. Let me check that out. If not, you can you see those little numbers around it?
Uh-huh.
Let me erase everything, so I work in Illustrator a lot, so I apologize if I get the two mixed up in my head. Can you see those numbers? So
Yeah.
that's how big you are when you're drawing. If
Right.
you wanted like a 3x3, you would just have to pull it to.
Oh, so you can't automatically just say 3
There
by 3?
might be, when we get over to these design pages, there might be a place we can do that. But I usually just go off of the numbers by it. We'll look into that. Let's see if we can find out.
Can you right click on it?
Do it on scale.
Is that where it is?
Yeah.
Okay. That one's on, which one's on my scale one? Oh, it's that one. Okay. Oh, yeah.
You just do
Yep,
a
height and
block.
width, right there.
Okay.
Yep, and then I found this one yesterday too, which I didn't know, when I was looking through this. If you click on that and you want to go 200% of it, or 50% of it, 300% of it, so those are just some quick scales too that you can do. Kind of interesting. And so then down here are more your drawing tools. So when I brought in, let's say the butterfly or the feather, I brought in the image and then I had to hand draw certain things. And so you can make any shape. Let me fill this in so you can kind of see it better. But you can basically hand draw any shape with these. This one is more rounded. See how that one made, the same points made a circle versus a triangle. So that one's got rounded corners, this one's got the more angular corners. These are a free hand drawing tool, so it's just like a pencil. You can just draw what you want. Does everybody know the difference between a pixel-based picture and a vector-based? Okay, so when you're looking at just a photo, like you're in Photoshop or you just have any photo, that is a pixel-based image. So when you zoom in, you can see all the little tiny dots making that up. Those are pixels. And whenever you're dealing with a cutting program like this, Illustrator's vector, this is vector. A plotter has to have points to cut and lines to cut. It's a completely line and point driven thing, not a pixel based. So anytime you're dealing with a vector, it's points and lines. Anytime you're dealing with like a JPEG type, it's pixel. So you have to convert, that's why you have to take in the JPEG and turn it into a vector. Because this cannot read pixels. It's just an image to this. It needs something it needs a line to cut along, if that makes sense. So when you're doing these, let's say you click on this one, those are all of your points right there, and the lines connect them. So when you want to alter something and you've drawn it, you just have to take one of these, and this will adjust all of your points. And basically, everything you're ever going to cut is made up of points and lines. If you can think of it that way, it makes it a little easier.
This is how old I am. I used to have the sign maker 4B,
Uh-huh.
and you had to hand digitize.
Yes.
Is that the same?
Mm-hmm. Yep. You're basically just turning an image into points and lines. So you're really just making a complex image more simple, because this it only thinks in the line art. So vector is considered line art, if you can think of it that way. So everything that you're I've designed an Illustrator for a long time, so it's kind of hard for me to explain it, but if you can just think of it in those terms, then you'll be fine with the plotter. But a plotter it won't deal with JPEGs. So we'll show you how to convert them here in just a second. So those are just your different, let's see here, this one's a more freehand one that, let's see, one of them is the smooth, yeah, one's a smooth and one's just a drop freehand and one's a smooth freehand. So that's the difference between those two right there. Let me get rid of some of this garbage again. So each shape you have does have that bounding box around it with the size. So if you do that, when you click on it, it will give you the dimensions to each one. And they're just completely separate images. Let's see. Oh, that one makes an art. So they're all different basic drawing tools if you want to draw your own graphics. There's also a typing tool down here if you want to add any text to anything. I'll just type my name in. So that is your typing tool. So if you want to design your own, this gives you a little bit more freedom to design your own graphics if you want to, versus like a Cricut.
How would you put an arc on a line of top?
I found out yesterday. Watch this. This is pretty cool. So you draw it whatever shape you want. You don't put a fill on it. So a fill is a color. Whenever you see the word fill, that's going to be coloring it with a color. Have no fill on it, so it's just a line. And then you click on this. Let's see. No, how do you do it? My text tool. See this little circle in the corner? You drag that to the line and it makes it curved.
Oh, wow.
I knew there was a way.
I know. I found it out yesterday when I was actually reading the instructions, which I don't always do, but I found it out. So yeah, any shape, you just have to drag it to, draw the line first, type what you want, draw the line first, and then drag it to the shape, and it will go to the shape.
Can you back that up?
Megan?
Absolutely.
Just make sure though that when, like you had highlighted, that it had that line thing around it. Like if,
Before.
yeah, the before, because otherwise, if it's just got the box around it, just the dimension kind of thing, you
It
can't
won't
drag
do
it.
it. No,
Right.
no.
It has to have that
So let
rectangular
me
box
do-
thing around it. Yes, that green box has to be around it.
So yeah, the text box, and then that little, you're looking for that little round shape in the corner right there. I did a little bit longer.
Yeah, if it was just like that, you couldn't do it.
No. Let's see, let's just fill this with red so we can see it. So then you have to go back to your text, let's see, double click it to get that green text box back around it. Grab that little corner and you just drag it onto the shape, basically.
And it doesn't cut the shape like that.
It doesn't.
Would have been nice to know that
No,
3 days ago.
I don't.
When I
think it
actually
will.
knew how to
It
do it, you
doesn't
should ask.
have the,
I'd already done it by the time I came.
Oh, okay.
I've always wondered.
I know. I was actually wondering that too.
Is there an easy way to center it on that shape?
That's what I'm trying to, I did it yesterday, I think.
It's right there.
Gosh.
Up in the box, there's right, left,
Yeah.
center, full, over to, yeah.
Oh, I don't think that works, so I think you have to pull, if it's like Illustrator, you have to pull this over. There you go. You just have to pull that thing over. And center it wherever you want it within that shape. So yeah, I actually learned that yesterday myself, so I really like that. That makes it really, really easy. That's easy in Illustrator.
Okay, so if you were to print that or cut that out, the
If you don't want
oval
it, you
will
just
also
want the
I
show.
don't believe it will cut. If you,
Or could you just get it?
just the
Make it
lettering.
original? Yeah.
Just the lettering,
Because I
yeah.
was making an
So there's an
arch
advanced
for a
cut setting
banner.
that I'll show you guys in just a second, but you can
It's
cut
for
by
a banner.
color. So if you have a multicolored image like these t-shirts and you want all the pink to cut together because you're obviously have a pink sheet in your machine, you can cut all pink.
So, and then I can put that on the hat, on the back, on the rounded part of
Yes.
the open thing and have it curved
Well, I
like
knew
that.
that. It's
Okay,
just
so
you
how
have
would
to
I
go on that.
copy and paste so I could cut out
The curved
15 of them on one sheet?
Okay, I found another.
Yeah, you
choice
just
pick.
delete the curved thing itself like
It's
that.
up
circle.
in,
Okay.
Yeah, just right click and delete and you'll.
Okay.
not modify. Too many options up here. There's a repeat one.
Is it repeat or replicate?
Is it
Oh, right here, right here. Okay, so you select this. Well, so that becomes basically one. How come you're not- I don't know why this isn't letting me separate. Okay, so that becomes one. I don't know why it's not letting
You
me
can
do that
delete
very
the
easily.
line, though.
Okay, so you can go that. There is a, so you can do row of column, let's see, this is where I found it. Okay, right here. There's a thing called fill page. And it'll do as many, this one's not a very good example. Let me show you something. I was working on this yesterday. So if you want to do a square, let's
So
say
it
you
filled the
have,
page with just ovals, not with the name.
that's what I'm trying to figure out how,
You just have to get rid of the line itself,
I think you'd have to get rid
the
of that.
circle.
Can you delete it after you've got it?
You just right click on the line
Yeah.
and do the delete
Can you
and then
delete
your
it
name will
after?
still stay there. Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, okay,
Yeah.
I haven't tried doing that. So where did my thing go? Oh, right here. Okay, so then you can go, let's say that we have this square. You hit fill page, and it fills your page full of that option. Or if you want to, what does undo on a PC? Control or, I work on Mac.
Control Z.
Control Z. If you want to do a row of 3, or a row of 4, or a column of 3, it does all that for you. I didn't know that was on there. I found that yesterday too.
Would that have cut them out like little squares though, or is the whole column?
I haven't tried it yet.
What
I don't know.
Making a column not.
Let's try it again and see if, wherever the line is, so let's do a row of 3. See, each one has a bounding box around it, so I'm assuming that will cut 3 squares. Because each one of those, let's zoom in just for fun. And see if, that one you can definitely tell it will cut separate. I believe they'll all cut separate.
And it will do it on any graphic you have in there.
I believe so. Everything I've tried so far, it's worked.
And replicate is,
It is under that little, it almost looks like a flower at the top. If you want to find that on our notes, you can make a little note. I highlighted.
You can
these.
just do the copy paste thing too.
Yeah, you can copy paste.
oh.
I just right click copy
Yeah.
and then
Copy
Right click.
paste is, yeah, copy paste is
Paste.
what I normally do. I just thought that was kind of fun, 'cause I just didn't know it was there, so something I
When you're
found.
doing things for a wedding that you need 500 it counts as everything.
that would be, yeah.
Yeah, it's always good to kind of fill it up right. So anyway, and then have you guys dealt with the library at all?
Yes.
Okay, so this is where you can bring in, when you actually hook your machine up, it gives you all these free images. And these are all vector-based images, so these are all ready to cut from Silhouette. So you can choose those, or you can go into my own designs, and this is where I've imported in, these are just basic JPEGs from like a Google search. So nothing special, just any random picture that you have or that you want to do. Try to keep your images Very, very clean and simple. If you get into too much detail, the tracing's probably not gonna work as well as very clean and simple things. So when you go into this, I imported these, so I basically saved them off of Google, just saved them on my desktop, and then you can drag and drop them into your library, and it just saves them into your library. So they'll always be in your Silhouette library. They keep them in there for you. And then when you want to deal with that image, you just go double click it, and it brings it onto your desktop. And then, do you guys want to go through some tracing stuff now? Okay. So once you have this, see how it's very simple black and white? Now you could do this with color, you could do this with other things, but this one will trace really, really well because it's very clean and it's very simple. So you take your trace tool, which is this little green box right up here, and you hit the select trace area. So right now this is a JPEG, just so we kind of have it clear. This is just an image brought from Google, okay? It's just a JPEG. So once we trace this, we're going to draw a box around anything we want traced. So you just draw a basic box. There's a high pass filter right here, and it's taken me a little while to figure this out. But you basically want the entire thing yellow that you want cut. So you move your high pass filter over to where everything is yellow that you want a line to be. So once you move that over, you can either hit trace, which will trace the entire image. That's inside and out. So it's going to cut the LOVE plus the outside of the birds. You can do the outer only, which will just do all the outsides. It won't cut anything interior, just the outer portion. And then there's a trace and detach, which I was playing with yesterday. And when you do that, it traces it, and then it allows you to pull all the pieces apart, which is kind of, I've never really used that one, but if you guys want to use it, I don't know. Have you used it, Carrie? I don't really use it for anything. But definitely the outer edge and then the inside. But I'm going to use this one because I want the letters. So once I click that, there's a little red line around everything. Can you guys see that? You move your graphic. This is our little JPEG. This is our new, this is vector art now. This is lines and points.
It's like vector right there.
Yeah, yep. That is the awesome thing. In Illustrator, you would have to hand draw. Or, I mean, there's tracing options, but this makes it super, super easy. So now you basically got what you need to cut. So I'm going to select that. I'm going to fill it with a beautiful color. What should we do here? Green. And you are literally ready to cut that graphic. It's now vector-based and it's done. So let's try that multiply thing. Let's see what it does.
That's, I was just going to ask.
She doesn't. It just is helping you so you can kind of see how the whole thing
Oh, there we
flows
go.
instead of
So
seeing it
I
black
just
and white.
did that same duplicate thing to that, and it just filled my space with that low.
But while you're on that page, don't you want to fix your glove so it's mirror image?
If you're doing heat transfer, yes. If
Oh.
you're doing plain vinyl, you don't need to.
Oh,
It
okay.
depends on the media that you're working with. So let me show you how to do that since you brought that up.
because, thank you.
So normal vinyl, has anyone worked in heat transfer? Class at all? Because of the way heat transfer works, and I'll cut one and you'll see it here in a minute, but you want to cut the not so pretty side of heat transfer, and then you have to remember, so you're going to cut that and then you're going to flip it over on your garment. So if you want it right reading, you have to always mirror it. If you are cutting vinyl and you just want, like I cut these little dog bones, that's just going to be applied just as it is. So you don't need to mirror that. Just heat transfer, but good question. You're big heat transfer. No. Yeah. So normal vinyl, no. But let's just talk about how to do that. So if you have this image and you want to mirror it for heat transfer, you come over to, I believe it's this one. No, it's not. It's this one. No, it's not. Hold on. Well, we're going to get it. Or was I right here? No, it's
There's
this
that
one.
one, yeah.
It's this one. I'm sorry. Okay, so then you can go mirror left or mirror right. And that's going to take that image and flip it. And that's your reverse. So when cutting vinyl, cut the top one. When cutting heat transfer, you would cut that one. It basically exactly mirrors over what you have. And then that will cut correctly on heat transfer.
One thing I learned too, when you're importing pictures from like Google, it's better if you get a picture that has a higher pixel.
Yes. The higher quality picture is going to trace much, much better for you. And if you can keep it more simple. Like the butterfly stuff I did, those were a little bit complex and I had to work with them a little bit. Let's bring in, let me open up my butterfly file. Let's see.
So it's gonna cut out the LOVE and the shirt would show through, so it'd be the birds and whatever color shirt is would cut through
Yes.
that.
Yep. Exactly. So
Is there
this,
any way, once you filled it, is there any way to, I mean, I guess just copy and paste, because it looked like you could actually have done 3 across, so you
Yeah.
didn't waste vinyl.
oh, definitely, yeah. So these down here are also your tabs. We'll kind of go over that. So this, right now we're on the butterfly, but if you click back over to this one, this is our love file. So these are all of your files that are open in the Silhouette. And you guys are probably familiar with tabs and how those work. But you can just click back and forth.
So when you copy paste, can you just put it exactly as
Yes.
tight as you want? Can you, I've never, so now I kind of on it before, can they be really tight together?
yes.
So I can get more.
You don't want any lines overlapping ever, because then, you know, you're gonna screw up your graphic. But you can get them as tight as you feel comfortable weeding them. Now, if I was doing heat transfer, I wouldn't do them super, super tight, because you're either gonna have to cut them out individually, or like, you don't want 2 graphics going onto one piece of a shirt. Does that make sense? So if you cut them really tight and then just were really careful with scissors and cut everyone out individually before you applied it, you'd be okay. But you just don't want 2 so close that when you're applying, 2's gonna go on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if you were to cut it apart with scissors, yeah, do whatever you're comfortable with.
Okay.
Yeah, you just don't want, like if I was gonna nest these together, nest and birds, see how that? But if you're gonna nest that and you were really conscious of space, you could get that just as tight as you wanted, as long as your lines aren't over, like that's super close right there, but your lines are overlapping, and then right here. And you could just nest them in as close as you want.
And get more out of it, maybe than just the fill a page even. Okay.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. Did you have a question?
What if we wanted to do the love a different color? Like, we're doing
Okay.
the heat transfer and we did the birds, but we want the love
To be a
not to
different
be
color?
the shirt.
Okay, I played with this yesterday too, let me make sure I can figure this out. So you click this, and you go to this modify button. Let me make sure this is
You
gonna
can
work.
right click it.
Oh yeah, I'm such a Mac user, I'm not a big right clicker, sorry. So there's a compound path, and you can make and release a compound path. Yesterday when I was doing this, I have to think about this. Did I click name? Release. Okay. It's release. So that just made it all into basically one color, but you see how the lines are still there? So what I did, let me zoom into this so we can just see what we're doing here. You can click now each individual letter, and I would just colorize it a different color. Let's just throw red in there because that's super pretty and Christmassy. And then see like these little shapes down here, you would just have to go through and either do a no fill or white. Colorize all those in. So we won't get all of them just for sake of time, but now this is viewed as a different color. And if you go into, see how that one is actually separate from the overall graphic? So those are all individual shapes.
Just by fill color.
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
But here's the awesome thing. If you go into your plotter settings and you don't use the standard but you use the advanced, it allows you to choose, let's see here, oh I hope it's awesome. What is the green showing up? Usually you can choose what color you want to cut at a time. So you would click, see how this one is the red? You would click the red, I don't know why our green's not showing up though, that's a little bit odd. Come back to, let me get rid of this graphic. I don't know why our green's not showing up. Did you recolorize this as just something else, just for, oh, you know, that's gonna be, let's try to go back to the cutter. I'm not sure why our other colors aren't showing up. Usually when you have the advanced, every color that's on your drawing area will show up right here, and you can click or unclick, and then it will highlight. You see when you click that? See, it's showing it all as red, which is really odd. Okay, I know what you might have to do. We'll try to figure this out. Usually when you have multiple colors, like on the butterfly, I just clicked which color I wanted to plot at that time and loaded that color in. So clicked on red, loaded red, cut red. Clicked on green, loaded green, cut green. This one, for some odd reason, I'm not really sure what it's doing.
So when I cut out the love, it would be each letter, L-O-V-E, individually, so you'd have to fill it off and then stick those on.
It should cut it just in this exact spacing and this exact, let's see.
But
So
you can
let's-
group it, yeah.
So I'm not sure. Click that little middle of that O too. I'm just not sure why it's not giving us the option to cut that. This is a lot of what I do is I just kind of mess around with it until it works. It's giving me this no color option, which I'm not sure why. It should be a gray and a red. I wonder if I have to go back and make this. Let me try something. Let me go back and make this. Make that a compound again. Let's see if that does anything. It's still giving me no color. But when the red is selected, all of it's selected, so I'm not sure why that's reading that as one graphic. But
You have to do the field color one.
which one?
See where it says line color, it's in blue. On to the right.
Oh, right there. Oh, maybe flip it. That's why we have you in our class. Yep, that's what it's doing. That's what it's doing. So there's your fill colors. So if you wanted to cut just the black, you would cut just the black. If you want to cut just the red. So if it's checked, it's going to cut. If it's not checked, it's not going to cut. So if you wanted to cut just the black, you're going to load your black in here. You're going to unclick all of those. So the only thing showing is the black. And it doesn't matter what else is on your desktop right here. You could have this whole thing filled up if it was purple, green, blue. None of it would cut, only the color you have selected. And see the little black line around it? That's showing you what will cut. See how the love doesn't have a line around it? But then as soon as I click off the black, the line goes away and the red is that line.
So you would cut them separate, but apply and
Yes,
put one on and then lay the other one on top.
yep, exactly. Yep, you're gonna layer. And you can layer with vinyl, you can layer with heat transfer, both of them work.
Okay.
Yep, good, thank you for, that's exactly what we needed. I knew there had to be some button that was just not working for me. So if you cut the normal, just standard, it's going to cut everything on your sheet. So anything on this is your work area, by the way, if you didn't know that. This is representative, oh, you can't see what I'm pointing at. This is your work area. This is representative of the cutter bar that's in here. So when there's an arrow pointing, that's the orientation of how that's going to go into your cutter. So that arrow, like this, would be going like this into your cutter. Because of that little arrow, and then that's your bar, if that makes sense. Is that? Now you can change, if you wanted to come up here and change your page size.
But you click on advanced to get the other option.
Yes.
Sorry, now I have to go back.
Nope, you're fine. So this right here is your little plotter tool. Click on that, and it's advanced right there. And then that's going to pull up your line color and fill color, and then your options to cut. And then down in here are all of your different, there's cardstocks, vinyls, copy paper, I mean like every chipboard, corrugated paper, cover stocks, fabrics, faux leather, and you want to click on whatever, let's just do vinyl because that's something we'll be dealing with.
And there's heat transfer vinyl and vinyl.
There's flocked heat transfer right there. And just so you guys know, I've experimented with it quite a bit. If you use the flocked heat transfer setting for this,
For glitter.
you'll be a lot happier person.
Really?
It cuts it deeper, and then you also have to adjust your blade. So as you bring this down, this is where it shows you the blade depth.
That's what
So
I
as you
thought.
bring this down, this shows you what your blade needs to be ratcheted to. And see how that number 3 is in blue? So that's what you're doing. You're going to ratchet that blade like I showed you in the beginning down. So it's deeper. And then this is the speed and the thickness. I usually just leave that alone. That's what the pre-settings are in the Silhouette program. So I just leave it alone and let it do its thing. If I'm having problems where it's, lifting edges or it's not cutting deep enough, I can adjust that. If you click this right here, this double cut, that's going to go over it twice. So whatever it's cutting, it's gonna do it twice. On occasion, for this material, that might be a good option. If it's not cutting well enough for you, you might wanna double cut it. I don't usually double cut it if I get my blade deep enough.
Megan,
But
for the material options, there is only one option for vinyl.
there's the, so the flocked heat transfer material
not
and then
heat
the
transfer,
smooth,
not
oh,
heat
vinyl,
transfer, regular
normal
vinyl.
vinyl? Yes.
There's only one?
It is right there.
So,
It's a Silhouette brand, but any.
well, they're assuming that's like Oracle 631
Yes.
type stuff, because it's
Yep.
thicker than some other vinyls.
631, 651 are both vinyl in the vinyl setting.
Okay.
As far as I've never had a problem. And then if you change that, then you can come in here and see, now that went to a 1. And then it changed your settings down here. So it's programmed in to cut it correctly. The only thing you really need to do is adjust your blade settings if it needs to be deeper or not as deep. Because if you cut like as deep as you would cut for this and you cut vinyl, it would cut all the way through your vinyl. So you don't want that. You just want to make sure it's just the right depth. What else is down here? Oh, and then you can do a little test cut. So if you ever want to, if you have your material in there, you don't want to ruin a whole piece, load your material in. Here, let's just do it. I'll show you. After I blend this up. So you put this in on your little feet, and you hit, oh, this must have loaded for some reason. Hit load media, and that just kind of sucks it into the point where it can start cutting. And then you can do, so that's plain vinyl, so let's just come back up here from the very beginning.
Do you always cut with the pattern facing up?
Vinyl,
Fine.
yes. But on heat transfer, you want
I would flip it over.
the not pretty side up. Yep. So we are in, let's just, well, it doesn't matter what's on there. So you come all the way down. I've chosen vinyl because that's what I'm cutting right now. We have our blade, let's say our blade is, where's our blade? Let's just double check that our blade is set at a, I don't know why this is telling me a 1. I usually have this on a 2.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep it at 2 just because I know it works.
And you can
Lock
add
it back in.
the type of vinyl. I did that. Just added like Oracle 631.
Oh, did you? How did you find that?
Just on the settings. Go back up to like the different types of paper.
Okay. Here?
And then.
Oh, hit the plus sign.
Yeah, and it'll let you add what kind of material you
Oh, awesome. Okay, so 631. Do I have to put word count?
Just something so you'll remember. And then you can be your settings, like, so if you wanted to have a 2.
Oh, gotcha. So a 2. Okay. Oh, great. See, I didn't know that. So how do I save that? Just hit enter?
Just, yeah.
So did that join our list?
It'll be at the bottom, so.
Oh, yeah. Cool. I haven't done that. I usually just use the Silhouette vinyl because it's just in there, but that's great to know. Then you can make your own custom settings. Okay, perfect.
That's what I have.
That's great. Okay, so let's just say we want to do a little test cut. It's just going to cut a little triangle. So you just have to click that, and it cuts just a little tiny thing. And then you can unload your paper. And up in this corner, you should have, I don't have an X-Acto, but and this one cut a little bit deep actually. But you'll get, you guys are never gonna see that, I can notice it. It's a little teeny tiny triangle up in the corner. So that way you're not wasting all the material. If that doesn't cut correctly, make some adjustments, try another test cut. If that still doesn't work, make some adjustments, take another, but that's at least saving your material so you're not cutting, you don't wanna have, big lovebirds all the way across and then find out, oh, that didn't cut right. So do a little test cutting until you get it dialed in to where you need it. And every material is just a little bit different. It's going to take just some time of, trying different things, unfortunately. But like I said, most of the ones, have you found that most of the ones you're using, the ones that are preset, have worked for you?
Kinda.
Most of the time?
Yeah.
The only one that I kind of struggled with was the glitter.
Yeah. I have a 2 sheet on.
If it doesn't ever suck it all the way in, like from the very beginning, just reload it because you don't want it to be And then you can also move your blade. This little thing right here allows you to, oh, there we go. Can you see the paper moving? So when I'm pushing that, it's adjusting in or out. Is it moving?
Yeah.
Okay, it's not moving. So you can adjust your blade all different directions and adjust that material. So if you already cut a lovebird at the top and you want to go down and cut another something else, you just have to move. This is where your blade is going to actually be on the paper, if that makes sense. So you can move that all around to do another test cut somewhere. And then if you're happy with it, which we won't, well, I guess we can cut this. Let's get rid of our love and we'll just do our little birds. I don't want all those little things. Oh, so this is another thing I found. This little gray part here is your mat. So if you go up to, I have to remember which one it is. There's too many buttons. All right. Oh no, it's over here. Here it is. Okay, so you can set the cameo mat. So this is a 12 by 12, or you can set a 8 by 12. And if you move this little reveal slider, can you see how the mat comes into view? So that actually shows you what will cut on that particular size mat. Let's go back to the 12 by 12. And then that adjusts over. And you can make that reveal as dark or as light as you want it. I didn't ever know that because I don't use the mat. But if you guys are mat users and you want to see where that placement is within that mat, just slide that little reveal bar over and it will show you where that will lay out. And then again, oh, I can't point, I forget. The little arrow right up here is the orientation of how it's going into the machine. So if we were to change this, let's say we change our document size to a 24 by 12. Now our document is going, see how the orientation changed? But it's still showing you where your mat will be. If you don't want a mat, you just choose none, and then that just goes away. But if you do want one, that's kind of helpful to see where you can lay it. And then you know, oh, okay, my little birds, I'm going to throw that up, you know, in this area, that it will fit there. And then you know that it would cut until there. If you have like a larger sheet of paper and you only have a smaller mat.
If you're doing something that's oversized, you need to make sure you have no mat. Otherwise, it will stop at the 12 by 12. I learned that the hard way.
Yeah, I do too.
So yeah, I just don't ever use a mat, but I like for fabric it would be great, for cardstock it would be great. But I usually just have mine on this none. But this is this sheet, is that a 12 by 12? That's a little one in?
Yeah.
So we're gonna change this to a 12 by 12. So now I know that this drawing board is the exact same size as my media. So whatever I put on that, I'm not going to go too far, too big, because it's going to match. So let's just say we want to cut these cute little birds, just because we can. How far did I? Okay, just okay. So let's go to the cutting feature. We'll use the advanced and click the black so that we can see that that's now highlighted. We have our vinyl selected. And if you want to create your own 631, go for it. If not, this one works great. And this one's saying to ratchet it to 1. I've never really used one. Let's just see what happens. So I'm going to take my blade out. I'm going to check it's currently on a 2. So I'm going to ratchet it down to a 1. Put it back in, lock it. And I'm going to put some Silhouette. And hopefully it works. Why is it pulling it all the way through? Hold on. Pause. When you make a mistake, pause. Like I just did. I can't figure out why that just pulled that all the way through.
I don't think you had it loaded, actually.
Was it not loaded?
I don't think so.
Whoa. Cancel job.
Need to unload.
Are you sure you want to cancel? Yes. Unload. I already unloaded it. We'll just pretend. Okay. Let's try this again.
Yeah.
Okay. Of course, it's not gonna work in a class, right? Okay, we've got, should be fine in that location. Registration failed. What is going on? I don't understand this problem. Oh. I promise it works better than this, guys. I don't know exactly what it's doing. What does this say? It's registration mark. Why is it looking for, oh. See if I thought it was some strange. Here.
You got the registration mark on.
Yeah, that's what's going on. Somehow I've got registration marks on here.
What are registration marks?
I need
It's
to
the gray. Oh,
If you were to, so they have a thing in here, which I have not used, but you can actually, it's called Pick Scan, and you can print and then cut around it. And you have to have the registration marks so I can line it up. But I don't know I have them. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna open a new file. Let's just go through this process again, because why not? But let's do a file.
That's the exact paw I need.
Is it?
Yeah, so I wonder where you got it. Like we're huskies.
Are you, oh, okay.
Yeah, we're little Hillcrest huskies. We
I'm
need
just a
that.
dog lover, so that's what I have.
Oh.
Then I'm going to go ahead and trace it again. So I'm going to select my trace area, cover that, move my high pass filter so it's all yellow, and trace. Move that over, and now I've got this cute little paw that's all vectorized. I'm going to turn it flat or gray and put it in my corner, and I'm going to go to cut. I'm going to go to advanced. I'm going to do just the gray. We've already got it set on vinyl. We've already got that set on one, so we're going. I don't have what?
You don't have any vinyl in there.
Well, that would help. Now I'm just cutting anyway. Hey, but it's cutting a paw. At least we're cutting a paw. Handful job. Sorry, guys. But hey, this is real life. This is gonna happen on
Yeah.
live.
See, that's what I was saying, this is creativity.
I've done this a million times, and see, I still struggle. Okay, we're gonna unload it. Now we're gonna load it and cut that cute paw. Okay. Now we have our paw. We're gonna hit plot. We've got that checked. We've got that checked. We've checked our blades. Practice makes perfect. We're all gonna know how to do this better in this class. Hey Eric, will you grab a X-Acto off of Mandy's desk? Yeah, I have aired a lot too, as you can see.
And so if I wanted that bigger, I would have just boxed it on over to the like 200%.
Just click it
Yeah.
and drag this corner.
Oh, I can't even do it that way.
If you
Okay.
hold your shift key, shift is always restrained, so it's gonna keep it, it's not gonna like distort it, it's gonna keep it that same thing. But you can pull that thing as big as a paw as you
And then put
want.
their name across it. I can, okay.
Yeah, and then you just take your type tool and, you said husky,
So,
IES. So then you just take that lettering and color whatever color you want, whatever, oh, we haven't done fonts, let's do fonts while we're doing this. Any font that any font on your computer, this will use. So unlike a Cricut where you have to have different cartridges and things like that, this uses anything on your computer.
You don't have to with the new Cricut.
You don't?
No.
Oh, that's good.
I have both machines, yeah, no.
Oh, good to know. Okay, because it used to be all cartridge based, right?
Yeah, it was all
Yeah.
cartridge based, now it's all internet based.
Oh, wonderful. Okay,
Which-
well, that's a great option then. So, find something cute. I don't know.
How did you bring your lemon drop one over that you like?
How did I bring it over?
Like, how did you, because I know lemon drop is not part of just the normal text.
Oh, I just got it online.
I know, but how do you get it
Fonts.
from online over to to
Yeah, it's
that,
font.
You just
yeah.
have to load it into your fonts on your computer.
You load it and it usually comes in a zip file, then you have to extract it.
And then put it where, like, I know nothing
It's
about
not
this
in this
computer
program
stuff.
at all. It would be on your main computer
It's a-
fonts.
So as long as it's on your
Oh,
computer, it
yeah.
automatically goes in here.
Once it's in your computer, it will automatically go into any program.
Yeah, so it just has to be in your main font folder on your computer. And then this just pulls anything from your, cute one, I'm not finding a cute
When
one.
you hit extract and then they say load it.
I forgot, I'm looking for a font that's on my computer in my office. I'm not gonna find that, am
And
I?
it's there.
And then you
Sometimes
just
have to
make that
restart
bigger,
your computer.
so you can make that, you know, any size you want it.
Sometimes you don't.
And then if you want, oh, this is something else. So if you want to cut that out of the pop, so that it will actually show through instead of layering it, because you could cut this and then cut the paw, layer it, no problem. If you want to cut it out, you just have to click this, and then go to your Pathfinder. Where's Pathfinder on this? I'm Space Illustrator, sorry. You just keep clicking through the top of well, delete, duplicate. I'll find it, I promise. Oh, maybe modify. Here it is. Okay, so you can actually weld, intersect, subtract, crop, subtract all, or divide. So you just have to choose two objects, and then for that one we would want to do, I think the subtract. No. Hold on. Oh, I'm doing that again. You would want to do, and it will actually cut it out instead of, oh, not that one. Okay. That worked. So now that's actually part of that image, and that would all cut it.
And what did you hit?
I did the subtract all. So layer it where you want it and then hit the subtract all. Just go through and play with them. One of them welds and one of them intersects them. If you do like, I was playing with just rectangles yesterday, and if you do like two rectangles over each other, and then let's just colorize them, whatever color we want, red. And then you go back to that in the modify. You select both of them and you do like divide. It will actually pull them. So those are all just little basic tools. Sorry, I'm not going in any kind of order here. It's just whatever comes to my mind while I'm doing it. But yeah, so you can do any size. I mean, you can take that pop because it's vector. The one thing about vector images is they don't lose their quality the bigger they get. Pixel-based images lose their quality the bigger they get. You've all seen pixelated photos that are blown up too big and they look really bad. Vector images, you can make any size and they never lose their quality because they're all just lines of points. So that's one really good thing about a vector. So we can just make that tiny, put it up in this corner, and then you can copy and paste, just like we were talking about earlier, or you can go ahead and do that, fill the sheet. Fill.
Or you could duplicate. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So copy paste, make as many as you want, or fill the page. Either way, whatever you want to do. Or you
Megan?
can nest them.
I have a question.
Huh?
So this is limited to 12 inch wide. What if you wanted to make that paw 24 inches wide? Will it panel it for you?
You know, I haven't tried to do that on this program.
Or is that not an option with this?
You can make it bigger than your drawing area. So what he's talking about is if you wanted to do something wider than your cut space, if you could cut like half the paw and then half the paw and put them together. I have not done that.
That's what I would
It's a good question.
A tip I do on that one is like if I make it bigger and I'll unclip it, and I'll just say I get like a triangle, and I'll just put two triangles like his registration marks in the corner, and I'll print like half of it, and then print the other
And just
half.
move it and do it again. Okay.
Then how the registration.
That
marks-
might be how, this isn't a super strong program, so I don't know if it has.
I should know if I had that option.
Yeah, I don't know if it has that capability. I'll look into that. But if not, that's a good option. So you just cut what you can. Like say you were just gonna cut, like this half of it.
You can select what pieces you want to cut.
Oh, did you turn it into a compound?
Uh,
Like if this is all one image?
And then to do your print, and you can tell it which, like, so if they're all in group, and you can tell it which piece you want to cut.
Oh, yeah,
Besides the
if they
color.
were all in group, yeah, if they were all in group.
So would you make it the size that you want? Because I'm thinking it's like lawn signs, so it could be big, it has to be lot. So I would make it as big as I want there and then ungroup it and then just put the pieces on the 12 by 12 or
Yeah.
whatever. That's how I.
So the beautiful thing about the Cameo
I mean,
is
put
you
them
can go
together.
long,
Okay.
you can go, like there's a little attachment, you can put a roll on this.
Okay.
So you're limited to this size, but you're not limited this way, if that makes sense. Where the, I don't know if, you'll have to tell me, does it
Cricut
ever?
doesn't do that.
It doesn't do
You
that,
have to-
okay. So that is
Cricut.
one advantage of the Silhouette, is you can cut long. So if we wanted to go in, let's change our cutting size, this is our mat size, to, width is 12, so that would be this. Let's say, I don't know, 40 inches. Then matching your cutting space. Yeah, so just make sure, the only thing that I've ever had a problem with, if you have it on a space that it's gonna be going in and out as it cuts, just make sure there's nothing here to run into, because if it runs into things, sometimes it will pull it off of the rollers.
Megan?
Yeah.
So on the width, can you make it bigger? Or can you put 24 on the width?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can do
Oh.
anything in here.
Well, so if you have a bigger image, would that panel it for you then?
You
Well,
have to put it to landscape.
so this is showing me,
Make the image bigger.
That's as much as you can cut, even though your workspace is bigger.
yeah, so if we had,
If you had that pile like twice as big.
you can make that, okay, so this is what I'm thinking. You guys can tell me if I'm wrong or not. This is your cut. That looks to be the 12-inch line.
Mhm.
So if you were to bring this, like if you wanted it huge like this, you probably would just have to bring it, like you said, bring that part in and then figure out where you stopped it and then move it down and cut it again and then move it down and cut it again.
Well, if you do leave the width at 12, it will make it more print room, more coverage.
I would do this one at 12.
And then the height is,
I'm gonna have to look up that pound, I don't know on that one. Maybe there's like something that will, I don't know if this program's powerful enough to do that.
put it on landscape.
Like that. I haven't cut anything that big on this, so I'm not positive on that one. I'll have to look into that, or if someone finds out, come in and tell us. There might be a video or something we could find online, but for now, let's just say we're cutting within our borders. Because I don't know what to tell you on that one. We'll have to look into that, though. That's a really good point, Eric. I don't know. Because like on the larger cutters, you can do that, right? It'll panel it in. If it's bigger, it takes it in chunks and panels it in.
Or just find my neighbor who has a really big cutter, right?
Yeah, or
Yeah.
find a friend. One of two things. So here's another thing that I found. If you're dealing with text, let's just use your Hushies. Should we use Hushies? Let's just use Huskies again, just for fun. We're gonna color it. Let's do another color.
Do green.
Green?
Yeah, Huskies are green.
Oh, greens are, okay. I don't do sport things. Okay, so let's do green. And then the out, there's two places you can do this. So one is down here. See that offset it just put on it? Oh, right there in the offset panel. So you can say how large you want that offset. Whoa, that's not that big. Oh, I clearly don't have hand control. Go down just a little bit. Oh, it could just be touching. See how that's making that offset smaller?
What does offset mean? Sorry, I don't know.
So that's the little border I just put around the layering. Can you see that border? Can you see the little red line
Yeah.
on the thing? So let's do this.
Now, when it cuts it out, that offset part, is it a whole letter behind it?
So like if you wanted to layer,
So it would be 2 layers.
yeah, so yesterday when I was toying with this, you can colorize that something different. Okay, wait a minute. What did I do? Oh, there we go. So
So it's
if,
called offset.
so right down on the very bottom, this little
Yep.
concentric circle type thing, that, so type anything you want and then hit that, and then that makes a border. Just an easy way to outline something if you want to. I might have to select
Oh,
this
here's
page.
offset,
I
okay.
don't know why the edge, oh, there we go. There we go. So then if you're gonna go in and use your cut settings that we just learned about by color, you can go in and cut just the red and then just the green, I believe. Let's try it. Yeah, there you go. So you can load your green page in, click off the red so it doesn't cut, and it will cut just the green. And then unload that, click that off and cut the red, and it will cut just the red. And then that way you just can have a fun border around whatever lettering you want. It's just an easy way to make a border, basically. And I think
Yeah,
you can
if
do it on anything.
If it got left on standard, what would it cut?
I think just a little, instead of adjusting the depth or the,
Yeah.
oh, you mean just standard on the cutting? Oh,
Uh-huh.
gotcha. It would cut,
That's both lines.
I think it would cut both.
But you can select which one you want to cut on the right where it says no cut or cut. So if you
Okay, where are you
highlight
at?
right there where your mouse is, and go up to where it says cut, right there.
Oh, the no cut or the cut?
So if you say you selected like the red, and you didn't want to cut that, you click no cut. And it won't cut that one.
Oh,
But if you want to cut the green.
I've always just done it by color. Okay. When do you hear teaching the next class?
There's something on one.
Okay. I haven't done that one. But yeah, I can see how that would work. I usually just go to the,
Yeah.
pick the colors because it's easier for me, I guess. But yeah, then you just cut it as normal. But that, oh, what did you just, oh, the width. Did you want to know what it was before I, no. Did your question get answered? Okay. Let's see what else. Did we go through these? And I'm not really 100% positive why they have gradients. Unless you can print out of this program, just like instead of plotting it, just printing it. And if you have a shape, let's just say you have this. This is the gradient coloring tool. And you can, it'll show, you go to select it.
Sorry, can we just go back to offset? So if I were to do that, I could do the glitter vinyl heat transfer as that back, and then the top could be just a regular
Yes.
green vinyl.
Yep.
And then you would put those together. And that's how I would do it, is that way. That we
It's
just.
a really good way to do it, yeah.
Or is there a different way that's
Um,
easier and less vinyl use, or?
No, I think that would probably be it. So let's just use a simple circle and do this in concentric. So I just threw a little border around it. I'll color it in gray.
If I want that border to be bigger,
Then
do
you
I
just
just
click on
stretch
it.
it and grow it, or?
And you do, when you actually do the offset,
Uh-huh.
let's see here, we kind of messed this up. Sorry, this is easier if I don't have it on. Let's go back to do just lime green, and then we're gonna choose this, and we're gonna click offset. This right here is how big it is. So
Oh, nice.
if you want it, an inch around it, if you just wanted a teeny tiny bit around it, that's where you can control that. And then you can also do round or square corners. So that, did you see the corners change? And then you can select that as its own separate little piece and color it whatever you want. But yeah, layering, that's how I would do it. That's how I would do it. You are going to use, the material under it, but you're going to already be cutting around it, so you're not going to really use that material ever again anyway, so I would just layer it. Let me pull up the feather.
Megan, corner 2.
Oh, we've had fun for a really long time. Okay, I'll just hurry and open this one up just to, are you guys all okay for 15 more minutes? Okay, I don't want to push in, but So this is my feather. So the shirt I showed you. This is a JPEG that I brought in from the internet. And then I actually traced it using the tracing that we've already done today. And then I wanted to put in, see these color fields that are, they didn't trace the way that I wanted them to. So I actually, this is my black piece, it's traced. And then I actually went in with the drawing tools and I drew all of these shapes by hand.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
It's a little time consuming. But then, so let me show you, there's front to back. You guys are probably familiar, but like if I want the black and then I want the colors behind it, or send to front, send to back, you guys all use that. So I just had to draw them in and send them to back. So if I have this, the send to back and send to front are down here on the bottom. So one of them's gonna send it, do you see how the color shapes just went ahead of that? And then if I do that, they go behind it. That's how I just personally, I drew them and then I stuck them behind. So that when everything layered on and it all laid out, they were behind my black. Does that make sense? So, and like the butterfly as well, let me open my butterfly program. File. So this one's the same way. I hand drew all those shapes. But this was the one I actually, this is the image I brought in, which was a JPEG. Traced it, and then I added all the colorization afterward by hand drawing it. This doesn't take 5 minutes. This is a process, but if you have time, great. And then you just have to put that. But if I was to click these again,
Like, did you hand draw it by tracing
by using these little tools
the
over
black?
Mm-hmm. So you let's see if we can do it really fast. Let me zoom in. So if I wanted some circles behind that area right there, I would go grab my little ellipse tool and I would draw something similar. You can always tweak it after. And let's say we want it green. And we want it to fit approximately in there. And then I just take that shape and send it to the back. And just make sure that when my black goes over the top, none of the green's going to be showing. Let me zoom in a little bit further just so you guys can see it. They don't have to be perfect. As you can see, those shapes are not perfect. They have jaggedy edges, they have, they're not beautiful, but when you put the black back over it, it makes it smoothed out and nice and pretty. So I just basically went with all these different tools and just clicked, like if I want to do this little corner, I just clicked along it. There's my complete shape. I'm going to turn it red, and I'm going to send it to the back.
That's what I wanted to see, what you just did.
And like I said, they don't have to be perfect. Because you're not really going to see them it's like the shapes alone aren't beautiful. That edge could be smoothed out, it could look a lot nicer. But once you put your layer over it, it makes it. So if you really want to get into detail and start drawing your own things and then adding colors to things, use all the drawing tools along this one side. There's also an eraser tool right here, and you can erase certain things.
Then you have to piece that all together.
And she is.
And that's when the nightmare starts.
Yes.
Now the butterfly took me,
It took you quite a while.
yeah, both of those were a challenge. I was at my desk, but I finally and the hard part is you put the black on last, and so you have to eyeball all the color shapes. I print out my art, and then I keep it next to me, and I put my colors down as they look visually to me. Like if the orange is right next to, let me come up here.
You're kidding. Like the little.
Yeah, so I would lay down, so I would choose that printing, or the printing cutting option that all the red would cut. So I would cut all that red together. And then all of those would go down.
Okay.
And then I would look and go, okay, the teal matches up to the red, you know, there's a little curve that kind of matches, so then I put the teal down, iron it on. And then I would get the yellow, figure out, it's like a puzzle, figure out that, iron it on. And then when all the color's done, then you move and you put the black last.
Wow, what a masterpiece.
So it,
That's nice.
so you just have to kind of play with things until they work, but as long as you can master these tools of the drawing, and if you know how to bring in an image, just make sure it's not trademarked or anything, you don't want to get into trouble, but bring in any image, you can trace it, you saw how fast you can trace it. So you can turn anything into vector just super quickly, color it the way you want, cut out, you know, the different aspects. I like to mix, like in my shirt, I did glitter and standard easy weed and layered it all. But, I mean, it's really, the sky's the limit, it's just your creativity.
Because I'm looking at her shirt.
Uh-huh.
So did they cut out the purple hat separate and the little belt and all of that, or all
And
individual?
just layered it on top, yep. She's done like the cars. So that one I know took her a long time, but she actually would do just like this piece and have, I don't know how to explain it. So after she's weeded, she's already weeded out what she's not using, and then so like here, she would have this hole right here, and she'd weed it all out, and then she would bring from the other, that, you know, just this color, and pull it off the paper and stick it on. So then that way she could just do the whole thing all at once.
Press it at one time.
Instead of this kind of thing, which what she's doing is much easier when you're doing that kind of detail. But it did take her a long time when she did the car. So,
Yeah, it's just, you have to have some patience, and then, I mean,
Yeah.
you can cut really easy from just some lettering on your wall, some simple vinyl, to doing more complex. If you just want to go in and type a cute saying and have a saying on your wall, go in, pick a cute font, type it up and cut it, and it's super easy. But then you can get more complex if you want, but everything is always saved, well, I'm trying to think. I just have one big file on my computer that's all Silhouette files, and I just save everything that I do to make sure I always keep it. And
Does it get saved within the Silhouette studio, or does it get saved on
I
your desktop?
think it's just on my desktop.
Okay.
I was trying to, but you can bring, let's see.
You could save it to the library.
Yeah.
I think you can save just about anything to the library. I don't think I personally do right now, but like anything I bring in as far as, what's my library not coming up? Oh, there we go. So anything that you save, like here's your fonts, your patterns, so you can bring all those things in. I just keep all of my own designs in here, and then you can just pull from them. But usually I just keep my JPEGs in there, and then I just bring them in the file really quickly and trace them. Or if I've already traced them and they're ready to go, I just save that file, and I can open it anytime and cut it. So it saves it all just the way you have it.
I have a question. So if you're gonna design your own labels
Mhm.
and you wanna send it to somebody, can you get it out from Silhouette and send it, or how do you do that?
Like for offset printing? I don't know that I would send a Silhouette file.
Can you create a different kind of file, or?
That's
It's
like
just-
what I do in Illustrator.
Oh, okay.
I don't think the printer would, Silhouette's so just for the silhouette. I don't think it would read over personally.
Okay.
I've designed for many years, and I've never had a Silhouette file unless I'm working in Silhouette, and I don't think the printer,
Okay.
I don't think it would read over. Illustrator, if you had to do it in Photoshop, I wouldn't suggest, but Illustrator would be your best bet. Yeah. I mean, you could design it and print it out and show them what you wanted if you just had some ideas in your head that you wanted to get on paper.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't think I would send a print file.
Okay.
No, you could ask them. They might have technology that I don't
Yeah.
know about, but I wouldn't send one.
Yeah.
No. Have we covered some things, or have I just completely confused you?
No.
Is there anything else you guys, we're kind of getting towards the end of our time, is there anything else that we haven't covered that you want me to try to answer?
Can we stay for another hour and have you show us the rest?
I would probably have you so confused.
Yeah.
But really, honestly, it's just playing, it's getting in and making yourself push the buttons, see what works, see what doesn't work. Get online, there's great videos for how to, vectorize images and how to add color. And I've just done it all by myself and just watched things and I hit buttons until they work, as you guys can see. And sometimes they don't work, as you can see. But if you just know the basics, I think you'll be okay. I think what most people do is bring images in and want to know how to trace them and how to cut them, and just make sure that to be successful, make sure your blade's at the right setting. Make sure that you don't want to cut too deep or not deep enough. That will make weeding a nightmare. And weeding is when you take everything out around your image. That's what we call weeding. So I would just make sure you're cutting at the right depth. You have you've chosen the right. If it's glitter, make sure you're on the flock setting. If it's normal vinyl, choose the vinyl setting. Just make sure those little things, because sometimes, and then on heat transfer, reverse. Remember that reversing, because that will ruin a lot of. But other than that, that's kind of the basics.
Okay, so for heat transfer, I do reverse, so it's backwards, and I put my paper in the number side 631 or whatever, upside up, the cute side down.
So this is,
Just have to say that out loud, sorry.
Yep, exactly. So, I mean, it's very, very similar, but you just have to think in reverse. So if you have this great, cute little image, just always remember to hit your, now I can't find it again. Right here, mirror. Doesn't matter if you mirror it left or, it just doesn't matter. And then put that one outside of your, because I have cut things wrong so many times. Just move it off your workspace. Just, you can leave it if you want, but just move it. And then put that where you want it. Then load that in this way. Cut it, weed it, flip it over, apply it. Yep.
I have little post-its that I write my notes and I stick them on the side of the.
Oh, good, smart, smart.
I still forget.
Yeah, I have cut it backwards so many times.
Yeah, I just stick them on there.
Even if you tell yourself a million times, you'll still do it. I do it all the time. Because I'll cut vinyl, everything's great, pretty sides up, and then I'll go to cut that and I do it all the time. So, yeah, just try to remember it, but always remember to flip. If you're doing like a heart or a star or something, it doesn't matter because it's going to look the same either way. But if you have any kind of wording or anything that really has to be right reading, make sure you flip it. Yeah, but they make it really easy. So, I'm just thrilled with this little fill page thing. I don't know why.
Oh, yeah.
How often do you have to replace that blade?
I've never replaced mine. If you use it every day, I don't know, it just depends on how much you use it. When it starts to get dull and it's not cutting well, then I would definitely change it if you're having a lot of trouble cutting, but I've never actually changed mine.
When having it on the right setting is gonna make it last longer too.
Yeah.
If you're cutting too deep into the paper liner, that dulls the blade.
That dull blade. And then I'm assuming if you cut tons of glitter, it would probably dull it pretty fast too, because it's just kind of got that rough
Paper in
texture.
general will still-
Yeah, or paper, or fabrics.
Yeah.
You can cut leather. Those things would all dull it quicker, but I just do basic things, and I've never had to replace mine. So I don't know. It just depends on your use. If you use it every single day, glitter. Probably
If you're
works
doing a
basic.
lot with the vinyl, a lot of times it'll get gummed up on the bottom. I just pull my thing out, kind of clean off a little bit, stick it back in, and it works great again.
We
Okay.
use alcohol.
Do you?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't do that. I
Like
just
a
literally
cotton
take
ball?
my finger over it
Okay.
and get kind of the edges off.
There is a
but that would
thing
probably
too
work
I
great.
watched. You can take the inner part of the blade out
Mm-hmm.
and you can blow it out with some
Oh.
compressed air
Uh-huh.
to get all the fuzz out.
Okay. Do you cut fabrics?
I haven't cut fabrics yet.
I can see where you could get stuff up in there if you were cutting fabrics, yeah. I've never had any of those problems, but I cut really basic things, so.
You can also use tin foil and poke the blade into the tin foil and it will help sharpen it up a little bit.
Oh, thank you. You're wrong. Because that tinfoil sharpens your scissors too.
Oh, does it?
Really? Just like my kitchen scissors or everybody's scissors.
I need to hang out with these guys, they have all the answers.
It's so